So recently a new firmware came out, and today I would like to show you all of its new features. It's actually a really big update with tons of new features, so let's directly jump into it. And since most of these new features are insanely powerful, I will probably cover most of those through dedicated videos in the next few weeks. Now, as always, I have added a link to the new firmware in the video description. This time you will have to update both your XIM and your manager. You can find them by scrolling down a bit on this website. Android users can download the manager directly, whereas iOS users will have to use Test Flight. The first feature is the XIM Cloud. It is a new website that is integrated into your XIM manager. It allows you to download configurations from other players or upload your own one to share it with your friends. You can also search for smart actions or other things. Since this is one of the biggest additions in a long while, I will go into more detail on the XIM Cloud in a separate video. If you are not very confident in your configuration building skills, then the XIM Cloud will be your best friend. Next, we have the advanced mode. A lot of new XIM users have complained that it is too complicated to set up your XIM. Because of that, every XIM will now launch in a standard mode, which hides most of the rather unnecessary settings. If you want to access all settings, then just activate the advanced mode at the bottom of your manager. This will then grant you access to all options. The third change is one of the biggest ones. It not only doubles the amount of groups, but also significantly increases the binding capacity of every configuration. And the amount of actions you can assign to a single binding is also increased to 50. Because of that, smart actions can now have a lot more actions in their timeline. This is a really big change because it means that a workshop is now almost twice as accurate as before. Because of the change, the workshop can approximate your trace recoil pattern with much more actions. So if you update to this firmware, then I highly recommend to redo your recoil workshops. Next, we have the rumble signal. This allows you to bind and perform actions based on a rumble command. So, if your game is activating a rumble signal, you can assign an action to it. Let's say a game will initiate a rumble when someone is shooting you. You can then use this feature to automatically perform an action, such as sprinting or healing yourself. Or you can use it to load recoil profiles. A game will usually activate rumble when a weapon is fired. Some games even use individual rumble codes for every weapon. This allows your XIM to automatically load the correct recoil group. This is something I will cover in a dedicated video very soon. Next, we have two aim assist features. The first one is the velocity calibration. Its main purpose is to allow the user to play with custom in-game settings. However, this also serves another purpose. Lowering the in-game sensitivity usually comes with a heavy aim assist boost, and by using this feature, you will not suffer from any negative consequences when doing this. You can find this feature in the advanced settings of the aiming menu. The setup may look complicated, but it really isn't. I will explain everything you need to know about this feature and its setup in a future video. The other aim assist feature is called Quantize. This is the second strongest feature that we have now to customize the aim assist. You can adjust the quantization in regard to angle and magnitude. Angle is similar to steady aim from the XIM Apex, and magnitude is a completely new feature exclusive to Matrix. Both allow you to better replicate how an analog stick works, and as a result, you get more aim assist. For more information on this feature, you can read this manual page or watch my upcoming quantization video. Another change is the new dead zone customization. A lot of controller players have asked for the ability to customize the dead zone without the need of having to change the in-game settings. This is because adjustments to the in-game dead zone can ruin your XIM experience. Thanks to this new feature, you can now lower or increase your dead zone. All you need to do is to click on this button. After that, switch to the customization option by clicking on this button. You can now adjust your stick dead zone as much as you want to. I have already explained all of these options in a separate video, So if you don't know what each of these values do, especially the offset values, then you can find a link to this video in the video description. One of the last changes allows you to make it impossible for a smart action to be interrupted. This is a rather niche case, and most people will probably never need this. But if you use a lot of groups and you want one binding to never be interrupted, then this is now an option. The last big change is about groups. You can now specify which groups are automatically loaded when launching a configuration. As you can see in this clip here, you can now select which group should be loaded by default. This can be helpful for very complex configurations. Previously, your XIM has always loaded the first group in your configuration, while all other groups have been paused. This behavior will continue with the new firmware, but can now be customized. At last, we have a few self-explanatory changes. Rumble support has been added for a lot of controllers, and the DualSense can now be used on the highest polling rate. The latter will require you to use a cable. Then there are also two fixes about the PC mode of the Matrix. As I said earlier, you can find a link to the new firmware in the video description.
So guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button or maybe even subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any of the upcoming videos. Also, contrary to popular belief, this channel is not an official XIM channel. I run this channel in my free time to bring you guys the latest XIM news and tricks. So if you want to support what I do, then maybe consider to join the YouTube channel membership. Channel members usually get around 1 to 4 weeks of early access to all new videos. Plus, we also have a nice little Discord to discuss XIM settings and other stuff. But that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will maybe see you in the next one.